That is the raging Rio Penasco. Isn't it, buddy? Right, Jack? Just beautiful. One of the things I love about living up here. Here we're still in the middle of the pandemic, but heck, I'm physically distanced and having a good time. Don't have to be cooped up in the house. I just have to tell people, if you live in a city, get out. If you can get out, if you can work at home in a beautiful place. Work at home someplace beautiful with clean air. The mountains is something I've always loved. Cloudcroft since I was a little girl. So, you know, this is my heaven on earth. It may not be your heaven on earth. Wherever your heaven on earth is, go there. As long as it's healthy. I want to make sure that there's a whole bunch of cattle. Well, they're out of sight. There's just one bull who's over there, way over there. Okay. Should we go for a little walk? He's making that sound. Oh. You know who's making that sound? That bull. I don't know if the camera will pick up the sounds, but I sure heard them. I don't want him mad at us. Last thing I want is to be chased by a bull. We're going to have to get in the truck. Well, I've gotten the dogs watered. Got them in the truck. We just stopped here. That's interesting how that animal's acting. Making these loud noises, letting us know he's coming. But giving me time to load up and leave. Is this going to be able to capture him? He's a lot bigger than he looks like on the camera, I'm sure. I can still hear him. I don't know if this one... Here comes another one. Over there. There is a whole herd on the other side with cows and calves. I'm not making bulls mad at me. Well, I think we'll turn around because we don't want them to think that we're trouble. Well, we've got the brown one and the black one in the back staring. Whoa, who was that? Somebody to our left up here. Okay, so look, we're being stared at. Let's climb this mountain. Oh, there's more. More are coming. They're staring at us too. I'm not going to pretend to know the mind of cows. Come on. Boy, you need to go to the groomer. Thankfully, groomers are allowed now. I have an excellent groomer in El Paso, but I wouldn't go there. Not now. Boy, if this isn't beautiful. Get out of the city if you can. If you can work from home, why are you living in air pollution? Why are you living in traffic? Why are you living with people all around you? Even if you're out in the suburbs, you still have a house right next door to you where you share a fence. You can always go visit a city. You can take a trip into the city, rent a hotel room, have a nice little weekend in the city if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, I doubt this pandemic's going to be our last. I have absolutely no feeling of being cooped up or imprisoned or anything like that, because it's extremely easy to maintain physical distance when you're out in places like this. And the air is clean. Everything is so clean. And it smells so good. I just can't capture the smell. Unfortunately, I wonder what kind of tree that is. Bush. And it just makes you feel better to be able to look out your window. I was just thinking, this past week, right outside my door, walking along, elk, deer, of course chipmunks and squirrels, you know, and turkey. Who else? There's no reason to be scared of bears. Just bang your pots and pans and they'll go on. If you hear little jingle jingle, that's a bell on Buddy. And the reason I do that, the reason like I'm filming right now and talking out loud, when you're out in a really remote place like this, make noise on your trail. Even in your neighborhood, if you move up to the mountains, you've got to make noise as you walk. Because, you know, the wild animals will hear you and they'll move on. Now those cattle are down there, out of sight. Good, didn't get anybody mad at us starting to charge. I haven't seen any cattle in the neighborhood. Used to, that wasn't unusual to see cattle in the neighborhood, and I didn't care. There's always some city slickers who, not that I'm not a city slicker too, but I don't have a city slicker attitude because of coming up to Cloudcroft since I was a child. How can anybody be mad about cows in their neighborhood? I mean, come on. Ranchers have a right to let their cows go out and eat. There's no reason at all to complain. But you know, there's always those who complain. There's some whiners. That's the other thing. If you're not comfortable with wild animals and with cattle and things like that, if you're not comfortable with having to drive a while to get to the store, then maybe up here is not for you. But just remember, these mountains and the way of life up here is not based on convenience. If you want convenience, you have to go to a city. And with that, you get air pollution, noise, germs, in this case, deadly germs. You don't need that. You can live out in the country. Adjust to the country. When you're here, you know, eventually the rhythms of nature just take over. I like it up here in southern New Mexico, up in the mountains. There's a real four-season climate. Now, El Paso, high desert. El Paso used to have a four-season climate. When I was growing up, it did, and I loved El Paso growing up. But the climate has changed in El Paso, and it's not really a four-season climate anymore. Some years, recent years, it was 2 seasons, where we had summer and spring. Sandstorms in February, no thank you. And then occasionally we had 3-season climate where we did have winter, and then we had summer, and then we had sandstorms. Spring is sandstorm season. Up here, I've noticed it's a real 4-season climate. I love that. Look, this is the raging Rio Penasco. This is really running. Every time I look at a creek, I always wonder, are there any fish in it? I don't see any fish. I'm about a mile away from Bluff Springs. There were a bunch of people at Bluff Springs. I decided not to get out there since, you know, who knows what kind of germs they have. I will be really glad once this pandemic is over with, and it will end. Not coming into contact with anyone else, anyone human. Don't really like coming in contact with human beings anyway, truth be told. Most human beings aren't worth spit. I'm not a fan of my species. I guess there's some good people around. There are some. But I think dogs and cats are a lot more fun. I hope that from now on people stop shaking hands, and I don't like strangers or people I don't know really well coming up and hugging me. I mean, you know, that's a real bad habit that people have down here in the Southwest United States. People hugging people and you hardly know them. I've never liked that, truth be told. I hope that comes to an end too. Buddy's gonna drink from there. Yeah, Buddy. Of course, I brought them fresh, clean water. Come here, Buddy. Here we're passing some campers on the left. My camera has no way of knowing, the camera that came with the truck I can't tell where it's pointing, and obviously I have it pointed up too high on this trip. I'll have to fix that. Meanwhile, we can look at pretty pictures of clouds. Actually, there's some interesting shapes up in the clouds, up in that beautiful blue, clean sky. More campers were passing. I'm sure plenty of other locals do drive around looking to make sure campers do not have a campfire going. As you no doubt noticed earlier in this video, how dry things are up here. Even though it may seem really green to anyone coming from the desert, it's very dry up here. And you can tell at the beginning of the video how dry it is. And campfires are not allowed, so we checked to make sure no one has a campfire. Anyway, nobody I've come across so far has had a campfire. That's good. Excellent. Here come these cloud formations. See the face? Looks rather menacing. And some other little things up there. It's fun to watch clouds. At the end of this video, you'll see some people who got off to the side with their leashed dog amidst a herd of cattle. Now, I guarantee you if there was a cougar or a bear standing there, they wouldn't have gotten out, but they got out with their leashed dog. Just want to tell you all, cattle are more dangerous than cougars, bears, wolves, or coyotes in the United States. Cattle kill more people than any of those other animals. Avoid cattle. Give them plenty of space. Have a good time. Bye-bye.